Good afternoon and welcome. Seems like it's been forever since we've been together. And this is the agenda review, just to remind everybody that there are no votes taken here. It's just for discussion items only. What I'm going to do is we are going to start with the roll, and then we will start with the Ethics Committee applications. And I think we've got 12. So any questions for the applicants? Just turn on your light and ask. To the applicants, whoever comes first, push the little people button and the red light will come on. That's how you can speak to us. So, Madam Clerk, if you will call the roll.
Commissioner Rawls.
Present.
Commissioner Durrett. Commissioner Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Russell. Commissioner Hill. Here. Commissioner Lee. Here. Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Fox. Commissioner Jay.
Here.
Commissioner Frazier. Present.
Thank you. All right. We will go with the way that we have our applications. So the first is Mr. Anders. Mr. Anders, if you will come to the podium and tell us a little bit about yourself. You've got up to 5 minutes to address us. Just hit that little person button right there. There we go.
There we go.
Thank you. Just give your name and address also, please.
Okay, my name's Gary Anders at 2400 Fernbank Road in Knoxville. I grew up here, grew up in the Aliceville, Spring Hill community. I've lived there for about 50 years. I've served various roles throughout my career. I've been in the medical field. I've been in radiology for 30 plus years. I also served with the Knox County Rescue Squad for 15 or so years as an EMT and loved that volunteer work. And been married for 31 years, have 9 children, and to the point where when I was doing my rescue volunteering, as more kids came, it got harder and harder to volunteer. I had to spend more time working to provide for the family. So I did that, and I'm an honorary member there now. And so now with most of the kids kind of moved on and out of the house, I have more time to volunteer and give back to the community, and that's kind of what I've chosen to do.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. Do I have any commissioners that have any questions for Mr. Anders? Well, seeing none. If you will be back here next Monday at 5 o'clock, we will take the votes. And I just appreciate you being willing to serve and volunteer for us. And I hope you have a great afternoon.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, next applicant is Mr. Michael Biddle. Hello, Mr. Biddle.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Good to see y'all. My name is Michael Biddle. I live at 309 Governor's Lane in Farragut, Tennessee. I'm currently Director of Men's Ministry at Dixie Lee Baptist Church, and I'm married to the most beautiful woman in the world, Wendy, whom I love dearly, and two boys, one who attends UT and one in the information technology field right here in Knoxville. Blessed to have them here in the area. It's been a blessing to serve the county on the remainder of the term of Mr. Covington, who had retired from the committee to serve and work for the county. We're in the middle of quite a bit of stuff on the Ethics Committee right now, and I've been honored to be named the chair of the subcommittee to address the resolution put forth by Commissioner Frazier and unanimously voted on and approved by the rest of the commissioners for us to look at and suggest changes to the policies and procedures of the ethics policy here in the County of Knox. And should y'all okay me to be re-upped, I hope to be here in less than 180 days to address those suggestions. It's been an enjoyment to serve on the Three Ridges Golf Board as well, and also governor's appointment. I currently serve on a governor's appointment for the Board of Medical Examiners for the state of Tennessee, and then also on the Heritage Conservation Trust Fund for the state of Tennessee as a governor's appointment. But it would be a true honor to continue to serve and to to just continue to help. I've been retired for quite some time, so giving back to the community is very important.
Thank you, Mr. Biddle. Do any commissioners have any questions? Got a quiet group today. Mr. Biddle, thank you for applying, and thank you for serving right now. We appreciate it. Next Monday at 5 o'clock, if you'll be back here for the vote.
Yes,
we would
ma'am.
appreciate it. Thank you so
for the
much.
opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah, commissioners, go past Mr. Carson. He is held up in an appointment he couldn't get to. So our next applicant will be Mr. Adam Cook.
Hello, Commissioners. How are you? My name is Adam Cook. I reside at 7400 Lawford Road here in Knoxville, Tennessee. My wife Amy and I have two daughters, Molly Bell, who is a sophomore at West High School, and Chloe Ann, who is an 8th grader at Dearden Middle School. We've been here in the community about 3 years. Actually, this week, on the 19th, was my first day of employment in 2022 with East Tennessee Children's Hospital. I currently serve as the Chief Development and Public Affairs Officer at the Children's Hospital. My role there is to oversee all fundraising, which ties directly into ethical decisions every day, along with marketing, communications, government relations, volunteer services, and anything else that our President, CEO, and Board assigns, so which I'm happy to do. As I said, we've been in this community about 3 years. Born and raised in North Carolina, spent the vast majority of my time there before we took a detour to St. Louis, Missouri, where I worked with a large healthcare system overseeing 16 hospital foundations across 3 different states. Each one of those foundations had its own independent 501c3 board of directors. But we decided we wanted to get a little bit closer to home, and we have found home here now in Knoxville, Tennessee. We've been here. The move was a welcome change for our family. And as soon as we came to Knoxville, we knew this is where we wanted to be and get involved. Early on, my wife, Amy, and I both have attached ourselves to the idea that where we live is where we need to be serving as well, not just taking, but trying to give back. Since our time here 3 years ago, we are members of the Cedar Springs Presbyterian Church, where we volunteer there regularly. Also serve on the Public Building Authority here for Knox City and County. Serve on the Chancellor's Associates program with the University of Tennessee. And most recently became a board member at the Knoxville Area Urban League, where we love to serve where we can in and around the community. Grateful for the opportunity to be considered a candidate for this role. When I put in my application, my job is to listen and to answer questions and to provide anything possible to make sure that we maintain the high ethical standards that you all and all of our constituents around this community expect on a daily basis. And I just want to be a small part of that if you see fit to do so. Anything I can answer for you, I'd be happy to do it.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Do we have any questions for Mr. Cook? Seeing none, thank you for applying. Thank you for your interest. And if you will be back here next Monday at 5. Thank
good.
you so
Thank you.
much. Our next applicant is DJ Corcoran.
Hello, Commissioners.
Hello.
My name is DJ Corcoran. I live at 5204 Magic Lantern Drive in Knoxville. And been married, if I'm lucky enough, it'll be 37 years this Wednesday. We'll celebrate an anniversary. We raised 3 children here in Knoxville. Love Knox County. Would consider it an honor to be a part of a committee such as the Ethic Committee. Worked 28 years with the fire department. I'm retired now, and I have the time to commit and give back to the community.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Goodness. Mr. Corcoran, thank you for applying, and happy early anniversary. I don't think you're going to have a problem making it to that. And if you'll be back next Monday at 5, we'll make our decision. Thank you. Our next applicant is Ms. Phyllis Driver. Hello,
I'm
Ms.
Phyllis Driver, and I've lived in Knoxville since 1967. I taught at Carson Newman College for 29 years. I taught accounting. I also taught an ethics course. I'm very active in First Presbyterian Church, serve on the Finance Committee and the Endowment Committee, and do other odd jobs, food pantry, et cetera. I'm on the Opera Board and a few other things. And I don't know what else you need to know. I live at the lodge at Shenandoah now because my husband died 2 years ago. And I would be happy to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Ms. Driver? Seeing none, Ms. Driver, if you'll be back on Monday at 5. Thank you. All right, our next applicant is Sanford Edlin. I hope I'm saying that right. Okay, we will move him to the end just in case he's running behind. Our next is Greg Mangan.
Greetings, everyone. Thanks for having me. Let me be a part of this. I'm Greg Mangan. I live at 2215 Piney Grove Church Road in West Knoxville. And I first came to Knoxville in 1987 as the assistant general manager at Cherokee Country Club. When I left Cherokee and went on to manage other clubs around the country, we always wanted to get back to Knoxville. 18 years ago, Fox Den became open, and I took the job at Fox Den, and it didn't work out well. We weren't on the same page about some things. So after a year, we went a different way from the club. And I could go on and on. I really want to keep this brief. But a magazine article in Auto Week magazine that talked about the sad state of driver education and licensing in this country led me to, 4 months later, open a driving school. And we opened Drive for Life Academy 18 years ago. And it's been great. We teach about 1,500 teenagers every year. We support the arts in Knoxville a great deal. My spare time is filled with being associated with the American Driver Traffic Safety Education Association. I've been the president of the Southeast region, just came off the National Board of Directors on the executive committee, and in Billings, Montana, a couple months ago, 4 regions nominated me to become the president of the association. And I think the reason I'm here is because I read the paper still every day. I get my fingers black with ink, and I read about things that are happening in this community and think that shouldn't be. And I'm thinking that being part of the ethics committee, maybe I can, with the committee, make some changes and make Knoxville an even better place than it is. Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Seeing none, if you'll be back here on Monday at 5, we will make our decision.
See you then.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being willing to serve. Mr. Palmer is next.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Robert Palmer, Jr. I reside at 1802 Jefferson Avenue, Knoxville. I've been in Knoxville since 1993. Started out with a small company that grew into a rather large company and eventually went out of business, and transitioned to starting my own company. I've been doing consulting for the past 15 years, doing electrical engineering work. I have a small office on Gay Street, and have been wanting to get involved in the community in other ways besides just my neighbors, and wanted to give back. I saw this as a good opportunity to get started when I saw the opening available. I've also been following things that have been going on in the community for years, especially more recently, and felt that I had some expertise and ability to get involved, and that may help the community.
Awesome, thank you. All right, seeing no questions, thank you again for applying. We'll see you back on Monday at 5.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Joey Ruffalo.
How's
There we
that?
go.
Much better. It
There you are.
was already pressed, my bad. Good afternoon, thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Joey Ruffalo. I reside at 11319 Campbell Lakes Drive in Farragut, and I'm honored to be considered for an appointment to the Knox County Ethics Commission Committee, along with all those fine individuals that are here today. Y'all have a tough choice next week. A little bit about myself. I'm a financial coach, author, and radio show host based in Farragut. Through my company, JR Financial Coaching, and my weekly program, The Prosperity Lounge, that airs on 96.3 Praise FM. I gotta get that in, sorry. I help individuals and business owners make principled, informed decisions that align with their values. My career has always been centered on integrity, doing the right thing for the right reason, even when no one's watching. What I bring to the table is an ethics, transparency, and accountability that are core of my professional and personal life. From every client relationship, broadcast, and community initiative I'm part of is grounded in fairness and trust. In my role as a financial professional and insurance producer in the state of Tennessee, I'm required to uphold a fiduciary standard, as well as take ongoing ethics courses. Beyond my work in financial coaching and media, I'm deeply involved in service and local leadership. I attend St. John Newman's Church in Farragut. As vice chair of the town of Farragut's Tourism and Visitors Advisory Committee, I was instrumental in bringing the Tennessee Businesses Against Trafficking TBAT program, an initiative run by the Tennessee Secretary of State's office, to the town of Farragut, making us the only municipal partner in the state. That effort reflected my commitment to ethical leadership and to using our platform as a town to take a stand on important issues like human trafficking awareness and prevention. As executive board member of the Farragut Business Alliance, I was part of a small selection team that led to the hiring of our new executive director, a process that demanded fairness, transparency, and thoughtful collaboration to ensure the best outcome for our community. And as a proud member of the Rotary Club of Farragut, I strive to live by the Rotary four-way test, which asks, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And is it beneficial to all concerned? That second question, is it fair to all concerned, is one I carry into everything I do. Fairness builds trust, and trust is what sustains ethical leadership. The Ethics Committee plays a vital role in maintaining the trust between Knox County citizens and its leaders, and ensures that decisions are made with honesty, transparency, and fairness, not just to meet standards, but to strengthen the public's confidence in local government. Having been recognized as the 2024 and 2025 Knoxville Community Votes Platinum winner for both financial advising and professional coaching, I understand the responsibility that comes with public confidence. I want to use that same credibility, balance, and commitment to serve Knox County in a way that honors and values what we all share. Thank you for the opportunity to share who I am and why this work matters to me. I'd be honored to bring my experience, objectivity, and dedication to fairness to the Knox County Ethics Committee. I just want to close by saying how exciting it is that so many people have applied and are interested in serving the community. It gives me some great hope for the future. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Ruffalo. Any questions? All right, seeing
I was going
none.
to say, come on, why not break precedent?
We're being very quiet today.
I know. Next week at 5.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you so much. Mr. Baguez? I'm sorry? He's not going to be here. Oh, he's not going to be here. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Mr. Womble? And then we didn't hear from them, did we? No. Okay.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Chase Womble. I live at 201 Lowwood Drive in South Knoxville. I am a commercial banker with First Horizon. I'm proud to say I was born and raised in this region, went to Maryville High School, and now call Knox County my home. To be honest, I never imagined that I would be wanting to serve on a government committee, but over the past few years, witnessing various scandals and breakdowns of trust in government, both locally and nationally, has given me a real sense of purpose. I've come to believe that maintaining integrity in public services or service isn't someone else's job, it's all of ours. The world has become a deeply charged place where opinions often overshadow facts in defining right and wrong. I want to lead by example to show what ethical decision-making must be rooted in facts, policy, and the law. Principles, not personal bias, should guide our public institutions. If selected, I will uphold the mission of the Ethics Committee and work to ensure Knox County continues to earn and maintain the trust of its citizens, as well as be an example of government service for my generation and those below me. I appreciate your time and consideration and look forward to any questions, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. Seeing none, we'll see you on 5 on Monday. Thank you. And I'm going to call Mr. Edlin. Okay, I guess he was able to make it. Thank you, guys, and I'm speaking on behalf of commission, if you guys are okay with that, but we certainly are so excited to see 12 people who are willing to serve on our boards, and that doesn't happen very often, so we are very, very appreciative of that. And thank you for your time and your interest in doing so. And we'll see you guys next week at 5 on Monday. All right, commissioners, we are on to agenda review. Are there items that commissioners want to discuss? Commissioner Russell.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to give everyone just a little bit of background on the two ordinances. I know there's been a lot of question about the process that we went through there. Actually, this is the ordinance and the premise behind it. I started working on last year. I think my first email to any of the departments occurred on January the 2nd of this year. I have had an opportunity to speak with Chris Caldwell in regards to this. I have had numerous conversations with Director Holden. I have had conversations with Mandy Benedict about it. So this is not something that has occurred within the last 2 weeks. This is something that has been researched and investigated for months, not weeks. So I just kind of wanted to give everybody that background so that everyone understands. The code is currently very outdated and needs to be updated. Also, just kind of wanted to make sure that we had in writing what we expect of the not-for-profits if they're going to obtain money from us, so that everyone is informed in advance. Everybody's going into it with their eyes open, both us and them, and that it's fair across the board, fair playing field. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Rawls?
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the forum, I asked the question if we could push this out for 30 days. I do agree that the policies need to be looked at, but there's some challenges. I have some challenges with pieces of this. And so that I just think that we need some time to go through it. And then I would love to get some guidance on these changes from the teams that it affects as well. So Ms. Holden and Chris Caldwell, I would love their input on this. But let me give you an example of what I mean about some of the challenges. Like on 10, there's a sworn section of perjury around the immigration status of individuals. Let's use two nonprofits as an example. I have a nonprofit that teaches about entrepreneurship. So if an individual came to one of my classes and I didn't know his status, that would mean I'm potentially having a challenge with the court system now. Let's look at the zoo who we fund. Are we asking the zoo to sign something stating that everybody comes to the zoo is a citizen? I don't think they could even do that. So I mean, there's some things that are in here in this proposed ordinance that we just need to take a look at and maybe rewrite, see how they could be unfair to smaller organizations versus traditional organizations. I mean, there's a section, I believe Section 5 talks about the audits. If you've got a small nonprofit that brings in less than $50,000, then you only fill out an EZ form. You don't even state your financials to the federal government. You do a 990 EZ, which is a postcard stating, this is how much I've taken in. So you don't detail your dollar amount. I've sat on a number of boards, and just to be frank, a 990 is not cheap. It is not cheap. We were gifted one on several organizations I was in, and that was a gift of $3,000 to $6,000. So I just believe we need to step back, take some time, look at it, and then move forward. So that would be my suggestion.
Thank you. Commissioner Jackson.
Yeah, I was just going to second what Commissioner Rawls said. I think, we need a little bit of time, and I'd like to also point out that Commissioner Frazier made a good point that we might need a workshop, and I think having a workshop would be a good next step.
Commissioner Russell.
Yes, I will let Commissioner Fox address the illegal immigration. That was something that he added, so I actually have no input about that. I will say that I specifically did add in the audit, and I know that we do not currently do that, but there were two objectives for me when I started this process. One was to update the processes from a administrative situation. The other was to make sure that whoever we give money to, that it is being watched over. We are giving them taxpayer money. And there is no, if we're not requiring them to have an audit, we have no way of ensuring that they are following proper procedures with their finances. We have no way of knowing, do they commingle our money with other monies? If you don't have an audit, part of an audit is to establish what your guidelines are as far as your internal processes. So many people have to look at an invoice for it to get approved. Somebody has to co-sign checks. It's not just one person can sign a check. You have documented processes that keep money from being able to be stolen. And we have seen a lot of news articles recently. In Memphis, a small not-for-profit that was given money by Memphis, they were taking vacations with it. And I just feel like that our main goal shouldn't be to give money to small not-for-profits. Our main goal should be, if we give money to small nonprofits, that it is used for the purpose that it is intended for. And that we are overseeing that and making sure that it's done properly. So again, that is one of the main things. I do know that internally, Director Holden does have some of her staff go and look over some of the small not-for-profits, but as a CPA, as someone who has expertise in this area, I can tell you that if you don't know what you're looking at, it's very easy to be deceived. And if you don't have that CPA expertise, a lot of things can fall through the cracks. And my goal is not just to outline the administrative policy, but to tighten it and make sure that we have no waste.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Rawls, I am certainly open to making tweaks in this language because I don't want it to basically create a problem for an entity that is simply offering something to the public at large and, unknowingly provides a benefit to somebody who shouldn't be here. I was thinking, when you were talking about it, I was thinking, I'm thinking about direct transfers, in-kind transfers, things that would be benefiting an individual versus a group that would include, by logic, people who are legally in the United States. So, and there's time, you know, to work on those distinctions. But I mean, just to give an example, I mean, or like housing, medical services, things of that nature, we should not be using tax dollars to provide benefits to people like that if they don't legally reside in the country. So that's what the intent of that was, not to trick anybody. But I have a question, and it may be addressed by Director Holden. When do nonprofits provide their application for funds? I'm not sure if I know when that would be. Because to me, I would like for us to have this in place before that process begins.
Commissioner, the next time that we'll be opening applications, because this is a 3-year cycle, will not be until January 2028, so we've got plenty of time.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Holden, will you give your name, please?
Sorry, Jenny Holden, Grants and Community Development.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Yep, hold on.
Commissioner Durant?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Holden, for these nonprofits that have received designations and will for the next, since the cycle, where it currently just started a new cycle, when do they file reports?
Quarterly.
Quarterly.
They file their reports and invoicing on a quarterly basis.
And what are included in those reports?
So we have it set up so that they're reporting who they serve, and then what they use the money for is included with their invoicing, and we have a team of folks that check all of that prior to paying invoicing.
Okay, so they are quarterly reporting where the money is going, what it's being used for, and the participation in said program.
That is correct.
That we are funding. Thank you. Have any of the nonprofits we have given money to received, have they used the money they've received for anything other than the specific program in which we are funding?
There are occasions that a nonprofit will submit an invoice with something that they would like us to reimburse them for that is not allowable, but we reject that and don't make that payment. Sometimes they're just not 100% sure, particularly if they're new to define services on what is allowable. And so my team checks that before they make that payment.
Okay.
So no, we haven't actually paid anything that's unallowable.
Okay, and so they do that through submitting invoices, and how often does that happen?
Quarterly.
So that's also quarterly, along with their reporting. Thanks. Thank you, Director Holden. I just want to remind our commissioners that, you know, we use these designations are used for programs that nonprofits are already doing. So these are things the county would want to do, but since the nonprofit is already doing it, it saves us the time, the manpower, the overhead in order to get those programs started. So we are just putting money towards those programs to help support them. Otherwise, it would be a much larger chunk out of our budget for us to do it ourselves. And so I know that, yeah, I agree that some of the codes could be cleaned up, but I feel like some of the discussion here is kind of alluding to say that the process we currently have isn't working, which I disagree. I think it's working just fine, and as Ms. Holden has just stated, any money has not been used improperly, and we receive reports quarterly, and so it's not like things aren't going unaccounted for. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Jackson?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, I'm CPA inactive status, but, you know, as far as a financial audit, what a CPA opines on is whether the financial statements are presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The CPA is not there. The financial audit does not verify that the funds are used to support what it goes to, and they don't opine on the internal controls. Internal controls are management's responsibility. I do want to mention, you can get agreed upon procedures on that, but I just want to point out that a lot of our audit, or a lot of our funding on these grants, and I'm thinking of 2 or 3 organizations, it is just goes to there to support their overhead and to support their general operations. It is not a specific, hey, we have a grant in order to support this one person or this one program that's very specific. It is more or less not every, I haven't gone through all of them, but I know 2 to 3 of them. For example, Visit Knoxville. It is a grant that they can use to support their overall operations.
Thank you. Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Holden, if I remember correctly, and I don't remember the timeline, you gave this commission a pretty comprehensive report of how these things run, how the process works, the timing, the review, the scoring process, it was a fairly comprehensive report. Do you remember when that was? Was it within this last
May,
calendar year?
I think it was in May. It was
Okay.
prior to the budget hearing, so
Could
I
you,
think.
could you
April,
please
May.
resend that to this commission?
Yes.
I think that there's a tremendous amount of information in that is relevant to this discussion. I too would encourage a delay and some sort of comprehensive workshop where we can all participate and participate with Ms. Holden and finance and us to, I don't think this is, I'm not comfortable just taking something that was written and thrown on the forum that might take some tweaks instead of really digging into what is the problem you're trying to solve and how is it that we can update if we need to update the code, fine, but what are the problems that we're trying to solve and work through that in a bit more of a comprehensive way together. I have a tremendous amount of nonprofit experience. I'd love to help think through this because it's not as easy as Commissioner Rawls said to produce things that aren't in the normal course of their business as well. But there are things that Knox County does fund that we feel are deemed important to the community. And we do that with a lot of outsourced partners. And so I want to make sure that when we're thinking through this, we're thinking of all of the partnerships that we fund, not just a couple of specific ones. It's literally everything from organizations to help support, children's shelter services to people that maintain trails for us and a little bit of everything in between. So I would encourage a delay in this for some time and to put some sort of workshop together where we can kind of go line by line, hear the concerns that you have, find out what it is that we're trying to accomplish and not rush through this. Thank you.
Thank you. To the makers of both the ordinances, I concur. I think there does need to be a delay, and I totally get what you guys are getting to. And I do think that we need to clean up some of the ordinance or some of the codes. I'm a little bit different than everybody else. I actually would feel more comfortable if it was a 90-day delay, only because we've got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas, people's schedules are kind of crazy, and I do feel like that we need to bring in Director Holden, Mr. Caldwell, and really kind of dig into this. So that would just be my ask of the 2 makers. I'm not sure if anybody else is comfortable with that, but I just think it gives us a little bit more time to really make sure that we've got everything on it. So, anybody else on that? Commissioner Hill?
Cycling. I do like the question that was asked that, and again, like everyone has said, I agree we need some tweaking, that the ordinances are old, and I think it's always a good idea to be looking at that, but I'm I want to be sure we don't create a problem where a problem doesn't exist. Someone asked the question, what are we trying to solve? And the last process that we went through with Director Holden providing us this detailed information that was asked for, I just would encourage us to be very careful about the type of requirement that we can continue to put on any of our departments when in fact a problem has not really presented itself. So as to form and all, I do think that needs to be cleaned up, but as far as any misuse or improper handling, and as Commissioner Jackson said, sometimes these funds are just used for basic daily operations. And so, I mean, do we still want to allow that? Apparently we have in the past, and apparently it's not particularly been a problem, but I'm just concerned when we start talking about a CPA really needs to look at it to define if it's properly used or not. Just makes me a little bit nervous because, again, I go back to I'm not sure we really have a problem to start with, except that we need to perhaps clean up a little bit of language administratively. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner
Thank
Russell?
Thank you. And I am, just for clarification, I have not requested that as CPA go in and do an audit of each, like where each dollar has been spent. What I'm asking is that the non-for-profits that apply for funding must already have an audit performed by a CPA in order to receive those funds. And part of doing an audit, I worked as an auditor for 3 years, part of doing an audit is you actually pull expenses and you do test work on that. And when you do the test work on that, you look to see if it does go out to a grant and is applied and ask for reimbursement of a grant, you actually do look to see if, in that particular case, if that's one of your one of the ones you test, that if it was in compliance. And CPAs also do in their audit address whether management has appropriate, there's a section in there where they address whether they have appropriate controls. It is addressed. It says that management's responsible for them, but they do also typically put in there, depending on the level of audit that you have, whether they believe those controls are accurate, especially if they find them not to be. And that's what we want to know. Do they have a clean audit? In other words, did the auditor go in there and find that they did a test of 10% or whatever of 100 expenditures, and out of the 10 they tested, they all turned out okay, so we're assuming everything's good? Or did they go in and test 10 and 5 of them were not done properly? Well, then they say that's not a clean audit. And so I'm not asking that they go in hindsight and do this. I'm asking that when they apply, that they've already had an audit, which most large companies that are professional are going to have an audit. And that it be a clean audit opinion that says that, yes, they have controls, yes, they're following their controls, yes, 2 people have to sign the checks rather than, those are the type of controls that a professional company has in place, where less professional companies often have just one person signing a check. I've worked for both as an accountant, and I prefer the ones that have the controls in place. It keeps things from being, there being holes that things can drop through, and that's my primary objective there.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not a CPA, so I can't speak to those types of issues. But from my perspective, the problem that we're trying to solve is we want to have greater transparency regarding the organizations that are receiving tax money. And so we want to know, what are your other sources of funding? What other programs are you involved in? Because I've made this point before, but I'll be happy to make it again. If an organization is limiting funds from the Knox County to a certain purpose, still that contributes to the overall revenue of that organization, and in effect subsidizes the other programs of the organization. So if the organization has programs that my constituents may object to, they may not want to engage in that subsidy. And this is designed to give more transparency to the citizens of Knox County so that we know exactly where our money is going. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Rawls?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think to touch on the audit piece prior to applying for an application, I think you're placing every organization in the fundamental, like, big organization status when you do that. And what I mean by that is Steve Diggs started Emerald Youth in a church, right? It was him, a couple of people doing their thing. Now they are a humongous organization worth millions of dollars. They can do an audit now, but to ask them to have done an audit when they were in the basement of the church on Central, they wouldn't have the ability to do it to become who they are today. And that's one of the challenges of running nonprofits, is that entities put these roadblocks in the way that don't allow for nonprofits to be great. And I think an audit for a smaller organization is a challenge when they're begging for $10,000 just for service, to help with their services. So that's a philosophical thing, but I'm just saying that's the challenge that comes up when you say, hey, go get an audit. But another piece of the two ordinances was something about donors lists. I don't know any nonprofit that would allow you to see their donors list, because that donors list is something that they've cultivated. And then for them to apply for some monies from a foundation or from an entity, and then for us to say, give me your donor list so I can see who's giving you money. I mean, that's kind of, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. And so I don't think we can put people in a position to do that. So just my 2 cents.
Well, I think that's where the workshop would come into play with.
And I agree with you on the 90-day, as I thought about the holidays and seeing folks and stuff. Yeah.
It's going to get a little hectic during that time. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's a great point, Commissioner Rawls. And where I'm coming from is institutional dollars, not private donor dollars. So other grants, other organizations that donate. That's where I would be seeking information, not from private individual donors. Yeah. Sorry, but I'm thinking big. Like the kind of information you might see on a 990, right? Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Russell?
Commissioner Rawls, I really, I hear what you're saying, and I really understand. A lot of the smaller non-for-profits do a lot of great work. You and I don't differ on that stand at all. There are a lot of small churches out there that are non-for-profits that do amazing work. But there are always, having worked in accounting for all the years that I have, I can tell you that non-for-profits are the least likely to report a theft by one of their employees than any other organization. And the reason is, and I have seen multiple churches who someone has stolen from the church, and they don't report it, they don't prosecute it, and the reason is because they don't want their members to find out that they let somebody take advantage of them. I'm not questioning the work that the small organizations do. But when you are small, you don't have the benefit of having the expertise to watch over your money. And it can be taken, and it can be stolen. And I'm separating that from the work. I'm not saying the work is not good. The work that some of these organizations do is good, and I hear everything you're saying there and agree with you. But what I'm saying is non-for-profits are, like I said, that when you hear of a non-for-profit that actually comes forward and announces somebody stole from us, that's unusual. If I were not confined by the fact that I can't disclose some things because I've been an accountant and it's confidential information, but I can tell you for a fact, and you can there were 2 CPAs in here earlier that applied for the ethical committee. We can ask them next week what organization is most likely to be stolen from, and they will tell you it's a non-for-profit, because the non-for-profit will not, almost never, will they ever prosecute because they don't want the bad publicity. So I'm just trying to watch out for our dollars. I want to make sure our dollars are used by someone, that the organization that does get that money has the benefit of doing good with it, and it doesn't get taken.
Commissioner Hill?
Thank you. I'm not sure who needs to answer this question, if it's legal or finance, but are there any restrictions on the how the hotel occupancy tax, hotel motel tax is distributed or allotted outside of our own county codes?
So yes, Chris Caldwell, Finance Department. For that, we kind of mirror what the state code says. So the state has code that talks about how hotel motel dollars are spent, and ours mirrors that for the most part. And so that is, we can look to see if it's 100%, but it's close. And so it dictates that you have to spend so much, up to a certain amount for the direct promotion of tourism, but everything has to be spent back toward tourism-related expenses. So we can't use it for something that's not tourism-related. One thing I want to go back to, as we discussed about whether we should have an audit or not, there is state guidelines and a state statute that talks about nonprofits as far as the state's concerned, as to what point they should have an audit. And as we often roll up to the state, sometimes it's good to follow the state's guidelines on things like that. And I think from an administration standpoint, we would say it's best to follow state guidelines on that.
Thank you.
So to be clear then, the state already has guidelines outlining audit procedure or audit requirement for this, and the state already gives us a set of outline for the way expenditures can be allocated. Is that correct?
Correct. So I don't want to speak for Mr. Moyers, but ultimately, because we are a charter form of government, that's why we have our code related to hotel motel tax. So other counties follow what the state says. Ours is similar, and the state just outlines for their own purposes that nonprofits have to have an audit once they pass a certain threshold, but up until that point, they're not required.
Thank you. All right. Get back to our agenda review. This will obviously be on forum, but number 16 is R-403. That should actually be Tazewell Pike, and that has already, I believe we're already working on that per Director Snowden, correct? And then number 11 is deferred until December. So that's 16 and 11. So 16 should be Tazewell Pike, and then number 11 should be deferred to December. All right, Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to discuss item number 12, 25-10-302, just for the fact that a constituent contacted me today and requested some time just to speak today, ask a couple of questions. So, Mr. Roach, if you would like to approach the podium, this one's the one regarding the grant contract between the Department of Safety and Homeland Security and the Knox County Sheriff's Office for Immigration Enforcement Services.
Thank you. I think
You'll have to push the button.
You got to push your button there with the little person on it. There you go. And then if you'll give your name and county of residence, please.
Name is Rick Roach, county residence is Knox. Back when 287G was first brought up, we had a lot of contention around it. And I'm still not clear on the role that county commission played completely. I know you all had to vote on it or give some type of affirmation or denial or lack of support. Because I remember when J.J. Jones was sheriff and this came up, I think at least once it didn't go through. It wasn't activated upon his request as sheriff. And this program literally federalizes sheriff's deputies. And the specifics, the first thing that I heard was 15 deputies would be participating in the program when it was finally approved. And we went from there. And I'm still not clear about how the money flows. And in this particular resolution or ordinance, there's $102,000 plus coming from the federal government through the state government to Knox County. And as the question was brought up about assurances and what the county commission should have access to, the information they should have access to in terms of those monies, whether it generates completely from Knox County or comes from the federal or state direction. Who oversees this? I mean, the city deals with the same situations. And when you start talking about the auditing process, Commissioner, that brought all that back to mind because the city only has one auditor on staff. How many auditors work for Knox County, period, and oversee all funds coming from all directions? Because you do have private donor sources that you take monies from. You have federal sources. You have state sources, along with Knox County taxes. So how do you all know that that $102,000 will be, no matter how specified it is in the request from the Sheriff's Department? And I realize because the Sheriff's Department, the sheriff is an elected official, and you know, that whole budgeting process, what kind of oversight does County Commission have over these funds, no matter where they come from? And that there can be an assurance that that $102,000 plus, in this particular case, would be utilized exactly as is supposedly specified. And, you know, if y'all would want to talk about that, and I'd like to hear all of you all's understanding of what your responsibilities are in that regard.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Roach. Oh, Commissioner Durrett.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
I was just going to call Allison up here, because I know I saw you all were here, or Mr. Holt, just to kind of shed some light on that, and Mr. Roach's questions.
Ms. Rogers, if you'll give your name, please.
Yes, Allison Rogers, Knox County Sheriff's Office Finance Director. This grant is mainly just an equipment supply grant. Hugh Holt can talk about the specifics, but that $102,000 is just equipment, whether it's mattresses, some capital like cleaning supplies, cleaning equipment. Now, as far as the ICE revenue, it all goes to the general fund. We average about 300 ICE prisoners a month. That's an average for the last 9 months. It has brought in, we get about 114 a day. Well, we do get 114 a day. And that's brought in the last 9 months about $1.2 million. And all that is turned over to the general fund.
Thank you very much. Mr. Holt, do you want to add anything?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Good. All right. We appreciate it. Mr. Roach, I will give you 1 more minute. We usually don't have anybody speak at agenda review, but I like to not shut anybody's voice down either, so you go right ahead.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Chairman. Chairwoman. Which I didn't want to get into, but they kind of brought it in. The efficacy of participating in 287G, okay? And that's something I guess that you all would have to take up, especially in these times, okay? When there are so many questions about immigration, enforcement, particular cities being flagged to have that enforcement done, not all over. And that's a political thing that has to be a consideration. Okay, it is a consideration. And I think that's one of the reasons why, because Knox County is heavily Republican in terms of administration and elected officials, that people kind of think, well, okay, not much is going to happen here. But a lot is happening in terms of people being called in who are basically waiting to have their status clarified, and then they're snatched up. And that can be verified. If you check with groups like Akin and others who are supporting the immigrant community, they can verify that information for you, okay? So as a matter of policy, and then having all these dollars come in from the federal government through the state government, and we've got a governor who is willing to send resources outside the state, as in the National Guard, okay? Those are considerations, and those are my tax dollars, your tax dollars being utilized in a way that maybe we don't want those tax dollars to be utilized. And so that's something you all should be considering, especially at the local level.
Thank you. Thank you for coming down and speaking, Mr. Roach. All right, if no other commissioners have any other things they want to talk about, Commissioner Durrett?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would also like to talk about item number 33. It's the honorary resolution, R-10-103, honoring Charlie Kirk. And I bring it up because in our commission rules state that honorary resolutions must honor an individual or an organization and shall be approved by commission. All honorary resolutions shall be meaningful and noteworthy to the community and/or the individual receiving recognition. They are used for congratulatory and honorary purposes for a significant achievement of an individual or an organization. So this means that honorary resolutions are meant to celebrate meaningful contributions that are directly tied to Knox County or that benefit the community in a positive way. I just feel like that recognizing Charlie Kirk doesn't necessarily meet the standard. He is a national political figure, but not a Knox County resident, and there's no record of direct contribution or significant achievement connected to our community.
honorary resolutions have always been moments of unity for this body, times to honor educators, veterans, first responders, legendary news anchors as listed on here. Also, the Tennessee Extension Master Gardener Program. I mean, these are all local things. And I feel like if we were to allow this to continue as an honorary resolution, that it creates a precedent and/or a slippery slope of then we invite requests from every side of the political spectrum, and then what had been a unifying tradition could turn into a partisan debate every single month. And so I think as an option to honor him would be to offer a proclamation in which, and per our rules, a proclamation are individual declarations of commissioners, an individual declaration on a topic that is, that a commissioner, not this entire body. My computer just crashed out on me. Here we go. Proclamations are individual declarations of commissioners on topics of importance to individual commissioners and do not necessarily express the views of the commission as a whole. Proclamations are not brought before the commission body publicly unless added to the commission agenda as an announcement during other business and do not require a vote. I feel like that is a better format in order to honor Mr. Kirk, just because I don't believe this proposal is a proper use of the honorary resolution, and I do think it would create a slippery slope in which we could start bringing any and every political figure that has nothing to do with Knox County to our meetings every single month. And I just think it opens the door to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to discuss what continues to be a conflict between our oversight duties with the Office of Housing Stability and other county commission business. On a number of occasions, I have wanted to attend Office of Housing Stability meetings and been unable to. The last time was with when we had a Finance Committee meeting scheduled by Commissioner Jay, which I was originally opposed to him scheduling it, but after the meeting, I stated to him, you know what, you were right, Commissioner Jay, we did need to have that meeting at that time because it took that long to deal with the issues that were before us. But there is a continuing conflict because those meetings tend to be scheduled on the third Monday at 1 p.m. And for instance, today I wanted to attend the Audit Committee meeting, and I was able to attend it just because the Office of Housing Stability meeting ended early. And so I came and attended the balance of the Audit Committee. But I don't think that meetings over which we have oversight or bodies over which we have oversight should be meeting at a time where commissioners cannot attend if they want to attend. And so I'm going to, I've reached out to Director Reed about that, and basically the response was, well, our board members feel like they can only meet at this certain time on this certain day. And I just find that hard to believe that out of 20 business days per month, that they can only meet on the third Monday at 1 p.m. So I'm hoping that we can work this issue out amicably, but I don't think it's right that we should be conflicted out of meetings. And by the way, that's where I was on May 20th when we had the nonprofit hearings, and I was a few minutes late. That's where I had been. I'd been at the Office of Housing Stability, and it ended. It lasted close to 2 hours, maybe not quite. And so I got here late. We had our meeting at 3 o'clock, and I don't think that we should have to choose. So just raising an issue. As far as Charlie Kirk, that's not my honorary resolution. I will note, I've not been paying specific attention to comments that I have heard just, through media and so forth. But I think he had a remarkable impact on students at UT. That's kind of like, I got that by osmosis, so to speak. I wasn't looking for over the past few weeks, that information, but that's my recollection. Now, maybe that doesn't rise to the level that Commissioner Durrett thinks it should, but it's my understanding that there maybe was a special relationship between Charlie Kirk and University of Tennessee, and maybe Commissioner Lee knows the answer to that.
Yes, Commissioner Fox. Charlie Kirk was at UT in March of this year, and there was the Turning Point USA is a large chapter at University of Tennessee, and there was over 3,000 people who attended his memorial service. So I think he does have a big impact in Knox County. So I support the resolution as it is.
Commissioner Rawls?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to piggyback what Commissioner Durrett said about a resolution and a proclamation. And thank you, Commissioner Lee, for saying that Turning Point has a large organization at UT. I think a proclamation for them would be perfect. It would be in front of that body, his organization that he created, versus a resolution here. I think we need to, instead of getting into these could be seen as divisive issues, we need to focus here on basic government services. We've got a huge debt load coming next year we need to be thinking about. We need to think about our roads. We need to think about our libraries. We need to think about our healthcare services. And so there's a lot of other things that can pull us into this virtual signaling world that's happening today versus staying on task and doing the things that people asked us to see here, which was keep taxes low, find a way to make things happen for them, provide services, et cetera. So I'm going to piggyback what Commissioner Durrett said.
Thank you. Commissioner Russell?
Yes, I have a question for, I guess, Mike Moyers in regards to, so the conflict, the scheduling conflict, does this body have any ability to request that? Or I guess I'm looking for, he has stated his problem. I'm asking, do you have a suggestion for the solution?
You certainly have the power to request it, that they move their meeting to a different time, but it's not, I don't believe it's a Knox County panel, is it?
Knox County has board members.
Right.
Like Director Holden sits on the board, so I think, and we participate in it.
I mean, I think, have you spoken to her about changing the date of the meeting?
Yes, well, email, communication, yes.
The body itself sets its meeting time. I don't know that the commission has the authority to require it to meet at a different time. So,
I don't see anything in
yeah. So I think it would be just a matter of working with the body and ask to see if they can find a better time that commissioners would be free to go. But I don't think we have the authority to force it.
Don't we give money to that organization?
That would be a good question for Chris. If we do, that's fine. Again, I suppose you could use that as a hammer if you wanted to. If you don't change it, we're going to stop giving you money. But the fact that we give them money does not give us the authority to determine when they have their meeting.
Right. Maybe Director Caldwell knows that answer. I thought we did. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm going to these meetings. And I want to understand it. I want to understand the issue better. But I can't do that if they have them at times that conflict with other commission duties.
Director Caldwell, would you like to respond? Or Director Holden?
Yeah, I think, well, the county, we do give money to Office of Housing Stability, but I think we give money to some organizations too, but they set their own board meetings and their own board times. And if the board is willing to change it, so be it. But I don't think we've ever tried to dictate when a board has a meeting. I mean, as an example, we give money to CAC and they have their board meetings at a certain day and a certain time, and it may conflict with something else. I know Commissioner Frazier is on CAC as an example. I attend that board, and sometimes it's conflicted. So I don't view OHS as anything different than just body that we're giving money to, and then at that point, they're a separate entity and can set their board meetings at whatever time they see fit. I think you can talk to them and see if they're willing to change it. But I think that would be my advice.
Thank you. Anything else, Commissioner Fox?
That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
And Commissioner Hill?
I'd like to just suggest that between now and next week, in an effort to truly have unity over Commissioner Lee's resolution, that perhaps we should all look at, it's really just a matter of wording, but I would, it would be very nice if we could have any resolution or any proclamation that was unanimous. So this is something clearly that's hit a nerve with more than one of our county commissioners, and I'm not debating the person or what this man did, but I do think it might behoove us in an effort to ourselves try to be on the same page on something like this that in fact does not have anything to do with direct governance of this body. I'm just asking perhaps the maker to consider that before next week. That's just a suggestion. Thank you.
You want to run? You don't have to. I didn't know if you wanted to. Okay. Commissioner Jay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to jump in on this topic real quick, I think that I really do. I've heard all the discussion, and I think it's important again for us to find a way through next week that honorary resolution should never be contentious. They should just receive unanimous votes. And when we wrote the rules, and we amended the rules many times, and we outlined what is an honorary resolution versus what is a proclamation, honorary resolutions have always been for Knox County citizens, for Knox County businesses, for Knox County people here. And I caution, not again the subject of the resolution, Commissioner Lee, but the Pandora's box that it may open politically, because next month there will be a resolution honoring George Floyd because he was part of an organization that has an impact on somebody in Tennessee, and you will be asked to vote for it. And next month after that, there will be a resolution condemning Israel or Palestine or Hamas because of some impact it's had on a group here. And next month it'll be something else, and next month it'll be something else. And the point of honorary resolutions were to honor Knox County people and Knox County citizens. And proclamations are individual statements that you can make and that you can give to any organization that's not part of a collective body. But if we start making honorary resolutions split votes and contentious, we're essentially going to lose the value of what an honorary resolution is where we all stand up and we all applaud and we celebrate somebody standing at that podium, and we take a picture together and we celebrate that the Knox County citizen has done something remarkable. So I would caution opening up this precedence, because I think it doesn't do anything other than divide us. There was a time 3 or 4 years ago that the city of Knoxville, a member pushed a similar type of thing directly related to the Middle East conflict, And it ignited this community and did nothing other than put 1,000 people in this room that yelled and screamed at each other. And that's not what we've done here in Knox County. So I would ask the sponsor of the resolution to think about the precedents and maybe find an opportunity to celebrate the life and legacy of Mr. Kirk in a way that is more suiting to the way we've set up our rules and our statute. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to say I'm totally shocked that there would be any pushback on this, because this resolution is to say there should be no violence in our community for taking a stand for our First Amendment rights. So I'm totally shocked and appalled that there is any pushback on this. I'm just shocked.
Commissioner Jay?
Well, I'm just want to respond. Commissioner Lee, I don't think any single person on this body would disagree with that. And we would, with that statement alone, if this was if this was some sort of resolution about condemning political violence, you would have 11 people with their name on it. I think the difference is that non-honorary resolutions are about a person that is a Knox County resident or a Knox County business, and this is not. So I think it's not about the person. If you want a resolution that condemns political violence, by God, we will all join you hand in hand, but that's not what this is.
Okay. All right, seeing no further discussion, this meeting is adjourned, and see you back at 5 o'clock.